Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising books, comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, as well as other fun, informative global cruise personalities. It's the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests. If you hear about a cruise that interests you, book it at www.thejoyofacation.com or enter to win a free cruise for two. Again, www.thejoyofacation.com. We really appreciate your feedback, so leave us a text. Paul can't reply, but he may read your text on the air.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul. I am delighted to welcome back this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, Roland and Emma, a couple I first met on a Facebook cruise group, and I immediately anointed them as my new travel role models. That cruise group happens to be the most influential on Facebook, the 106,000 member Melanin at Sea, created by friends of the show and global cruise personalities, A Rich and Jazzy Life. Roland and Emma were the first guests to come on the Joy of Cruising podcast, not as global cruise personalities, but as ordinary cruisers to talk to the listeners about an extraordinary bucket list cruise. I had seen their great description and photos of the cruise, and I reached out to them and enjoyed reliving the cruise with them. Well, they did it again. This time, Roland and Emma traveled via land and sea on an epic European adventure covering 61 days. So when I called them my new cruise role models before, that might have been hyperbole. Now I want to know if they are looking to hire an administrative assistant. The epic Euro trip started with 5 days in an Airbnb in London, one of the great cities of the world, 14-night cruise on Sky Princess, and then a back-to-back 14-night Land of the Midnight Sun cruise also on Sky Princess, then a 7-night Oasis of the Seas, Spain and Italy cruise, and culminated with a 3-city Spain adventure. Welcome back, Roland and Emma, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hello.
Hello, thanks for having us again.
Yes, sir.
So how you both doing?
Blessed. Doing well.
Doing well, can't complain.
Day by day.
You recovered from the hurricane. I was kind of keeping up, Roland, with you had some updates on Facebook. Everything cool now?
Yes.
Yeah, we just had some rain, some wind, very, very minor damage. So everything was good here.
Yeah, thankfully over here the family was safe. Everybody was safe.
Yep. Okay, good. Well, before we discuss your second amazing European bucket list adventure, tell our listeners about yourselves in general, where you're from, where you live, professional background, anything you would like to share.
So my name is Emma. I am a retired vet, disabled vet, military army. We just retired from teaching. And right now I'm retired and living life, traveling, seeing what God made for us out there.
Me, I'm Roland. I am from here in Tampa. Been here most of my life. Went to college out in Texas. Been teaching for the last 25, 26 years. And God willing, be retiring at the end of next year and continue to dream of traveling, more full-time, part-time.
Before we chat about this trip, that would check off a couple of bucket list items for me. Say something about any other cruises or land adventures since we last spoke.
So yeah, I was saying that we did a land right after we met up. We did the video. We did a land tour. Puerto Rico, visited my island. I am Puerto Rican with the family. Some beach. The most beautiful part of Puerto Rico is the water. After that, I went to Hawaii with his mom and his brother and his auntie. Then we did Wonders of the Seas for the Super Bowl. That was in February. And that was pretty much it that I have that I can remember.
Now, I recall you guys were headed. I remember you guys were headed to Brazil, weren't you?
Oh yeah, we
When
did
we
Brazil.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we did Brazil. How did I forget Brazil? We did
wow,
Brazil.
you travel so much. You
Yes.
leave out just bucket list destinations like Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil was amazing. Listen, I don't care what people say about safety. Brazil was amazing. We had no safety issues. Everybody was nice. Um, it was just completely amazing.
Now, what was the time period you were in Brazil?
That was
Were you there? Let me ask specifically. Were you there over New Year's?
no, we were there in November, was it?
Yeah,
It was
I believe it was
November.
November.
It was November.
Okay. The reason I ask is that seems to be a thing. I've interviewed, I think maybe it was at least two guests in the last couple of months. And they weren't, they were on totally different voyages, but they raved about New Year's Eve in Brazil.
Yeah. We did Thanksgiving in Brazil.
Yeah.
And it was better than I expected, much better. I went because I had as a goal, as a bucket list, to visit the three largest waterfalls in the world, which are Niagara. We've already been that. And then, of course, over there's Iguazu is the second, and Victoria Falls is coming up. But it was just completely blew my mind. I was a little bit worried because everybody was like, "Oh, safety, safety." But you know what? It was just
Zero issues.
zero issues, zero.
Now, refresh my memory. I cut class when we covered this in geography. Where's Victoria Falls?
Victoria Falls is in Africa.
Okay. Well, that's at the top of my bucket list. But what country in Africa is Victoria Falls, you know?
It's let me see.
We just talked about that a few days ago too.
I always say Tanzania, but it's not Tanzania.
All right, well, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Zimbabwe.
look
It's
it up.
near Zimbabwe.
Okay. So let's talk about your grand journey. What motivated you to put together such a grand journey? Although I think I know the answer to this question, because I could have asked you what motivated you to put together the grand journey I had you on here last time about. It's just in your blood. But anyway, talk about putting that together.
So price is a big thing for me. So I wouldn't say a budget traveler, but when I travel, I try to make it. I don't want to have a credit card bill of $80,000 when I come back. So I knew from the travel before that, the year before the summer, that we wanted to take the girls to Spain for a little bit longer of a time, because we knew they were going to enjoy it. And I was just researching, and this, of course, offer came up for Princess Cruises, and it was Norway. And I have been hearing a lot about Norway because they are changing their rules on cruises, trying to protect the environment, trying to change the type of ships that go over there and how many at a certain time. And I said, all of that is going in place in 2025. Let me get this one in. So that's how we did those 28 days in Norway. Then prior to that, a friend of mine had said she wanted to go to Europe for the first time. She'd never been, so she wanted to go with somebody. So we attached that Oasis of the Seas that week after, and then the girls met us over there for the 3 weeks of landing.
So I didn't. I went over briefly the itinerary in the introduction, but I'm going to also post the itinerary in the show notes. But let's start at the beginning. So you started with an extended stay in London.
Yes.
that's kind of what I had on my bucket list. Actually, I had booked for 25. I was going to the fjords, and I was going to start with a short stay in London. So tell me all about that. Where'd you stay?
We stayed in an Airbnb. I forget the name of the area,
We
but it was
stayed
near Wimbledon. It was
near
it was near
Wimbledon,
Wimbledon.
North Wimbledon. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, we stayed at an Airbnb. It was a room. A house owner had an extra room with a bathroom right next to it. Just worked out.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot cheaper than a
Oh yeah.
hotel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's definitely gonna find the a cheaper
But
option if possible, as long as it's still clean and in a good
clean
area.
and
She's gonna
safe.
find a
Yes.
good deal.
It was comfortable. The bed was comfortable. The bathroom was nice and clean. The house smelled great. The lady didn't bother us at all. It was just great.
So that was your first time in London?
So it was not my first time in London. It was his
This is my
first time
first
in
time.
London. So that's why I added that week to give him that
Okay.
taste of London.
So give me the highlights. What can I expect when I go?
Definitely gotta go to Camden. I don't want to forget it, but Camden is a vibe. It's a really nice area of shops and food. A lot of natural stuff. There's a river that you could do like a boat.
Where are you saying? Camden?
Camden, yes, that's the
And that's a part of London?
yes. You can take
Oh,
the
okay.
train and it drops you off right there and you
Okay. I used to work in Camden, but it was Camden, New Jersey.
Jersey.
okay. So that one was definitely, I would say it was like retro, a lot of music, a lot of old school stores, that kind of vibe. Tattoo
In
shop.
Camden.
Yeah, in
Yes.
Camden. To me, London was like a little New York, or it's very similar to New York, where you got like a melting pot of all different races, all different types of restaurants. You can walk everywhere.
Or take the train.
Their public transportation system is
Amazing.
great. The trains are super clean. Everything is pretty much super clean. So we had a really good time there.
Just for our viewers, in case they're trying to go to London, the best part that the public transportation have is not only that it's faster, is that you can take your credit card and you can tap it in the train or on the bus, and they start tabulating your day. And at the end of the day at midnight, then they give you the total. So it's not like multiple charges and it's not like crazy. So like our first day, I thought it was going to be a whole bunch of money. And we were like, oh, babe, it was 9 something for all of our day. And we took the bus, we took the train a couple of times back and forth, which was pretty cool.
So did you see any of the great tourist attractions in London?
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some highlights.
So we saw Big Ben. We went to Big Ben, went to Buckingham Palace, went to the London Bridge, went to the most famous music studio where the Beatles recorded.
Across the street.
Abbey Road,
Abbey
and we
Road.
crossed the street where they crossed the street for the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have.
So is it now like a museum, or it's not still active, right?
The
No,
studio,
it's
the
active.
studio is still active,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay.
you can't walk in for a tour. You have to actually book the studio to record.
Next to the studio, they have a small shop museum, like right next to it. Don't walk too fast, you may miss it, but it's right next to it. It's like a little gate, and you go in, and it was really nice to see all that memorabilia and to see on the wall the years and who recorded in the Abbey studio. I wasn't aware of it. He taught me, and I just learned, but it was really nice.
I mean, those are all the highlights. Those are the things I think of.
Other than that, lots of people.
For my first trip.
Yeah, I pretty much took him. Pretty much took him to all of the highlights. We did a lot of city walks. If you're not aware,
the free tours.
In Europe, they have the free walking tours. So they're called umbrella tours. You look them up, they're free, and they give you all of the beautiful highlights and historic, and then you give them a tip at the end of the tour. So we did 2 of those. We did the the palace,
Mhm.
Buckingham Palace, and then we did another one in the center of London.
We'll be right back.
The Joy of Cruising podcast guests receive a gift sponsored by GigSky of a 3 gigabyte cruise plus land data package valued at $60. Relying on ship Wi-Fi is slow, unsecure, and sometimes not available. And at foreign ports, travelers don't want to pay their carriers high fees. GigSky provides a solution that will save them a significant amount of money. To get your own data package usable on the ship or in ports, here is my link to GigSky. https://gigsky.pxf.io/NLOXOR. This can be found in the show notes below. For a 10% discount, use the code Joy of Cruising.
So after London, was a back-to-back, if I understand correctly, a back-to-back on Sky Princess, right? All right. So first of all, tell us about the ship. For those of us who haven't been on Princess or been on Sky Princess.
Princess has the most comfortable beds at sea. You don't wake up with any neck stuff or body pain. They're just very comfortable. The room is spacious because you have your closet separate from your room. Let's see, I'm talking about the cabin. The TV and movie selection is amazing. And you still have free room service, which I think is great. The ship is beautiful. Food was great too. Very diverse, very good food.
So what was your itinerary?
The itinerary, the first, it was a Norway tour. So we hit several different cities in Norway, from Haugesund to Flan, Geringer, Hannesvag, Trondheim, Aalesund, Olden. So the first was in Belgium. We hit Bruges in Belgium to finish off.
So was this the first 7 days, or was that over the two weeks?
That was over
the first 14 days.
The first 14 days was all.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me some of your port highlights.
Absolutely stunning. What can I tell you? The ports are small, very small, maybe 1 or 2 ships, and you're in between these amazing, gigantic mountains I've never seen so many waterfalls at the same time. It seemed like hundreds of waterfalls. Like everywhere you looked, there was a small waterfall. I like water.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing. I cannot, pictures cannot describe how beautiful it was.
I think one of my highlights on the first stop was Skane, Norway, where it's the North Sea meets the Baltic Sea.
What's it called?
Skane in Norway. It's a city in Norway. And
okay.
The North Sea and the Baltic Sea, they meet, but they don't mix.
Yes.
So we got to see the waters battling each other, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. They meet, but they don't mix.
Will not mix.
Say some more. I mean, what?
So one is very high on salt, and the other one is a lesser density. So it's like 2 shores, but it's actually, it looks like 2 shores where we were standing at. But when they meet, they just
bounce off each other.
It's like the North and the South Pole, like the battery, they can't. But when you go deeper in, you don't see that. You don't really see that when you're inside the water. So it was really, really interesting how that worked out.
I tell you, doing podcasts and talking to world travelers like yourself, I always learn stuff. It's like, where was I in high school, in college? You know, when these things were covered. I mean, that's amazing. So what I'm going to do, I'm sure, as I often do when I get off the phone, is go to Wikipedia and learn some more about that phenomenon.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was beautiful. You see a lot of sea life. When we went, they drop you off right there. And there's like no hotels, there's nothing. This is like complete nature. So they take you in this little tractor thing all the way closer to the beach and they drop you off right there. And you're like in the sand, in the water, and you're just walking by. It's like a sandbar type of.
Yeah.
And the afternoon is covered by the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like incredible. Like I always say this. How did God think of this? How did he do this? This was so great.
And I misspoke earlier. That wasn't Norway. Skane's in Denmark.
Okay. So what about like cities? You stop. What major cities did you stop at?
Well, on that first leg, we stopped. The major city would be Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Copenhagen, Denmark is probably the major city, and Stockholm, Sweden.
How did you? Well, both of those are cities that sound like great cities. Did you take a tour in each, or did you go on your own?
Well, in Copenhagen, we took a bus and a train tour to the city center, and then we just walked about because they had beautiful buildings. The architecture was really nice, and it's a biking city, so everybody walks or rode bikes.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that where we did the
We
boat
did it.
tour?
Yeah, I was going to get to the
Okay.
little boat tour we did to ride around in canals through the city, where we saw the Little Mermaid statue.
Yes, that's another
Historical
thing. So we just did the transfer so that they could drop us off in the middle of everything, and then we paid on our own for the canal tour in the boat. Saved about 70% of the cost. And The Little Mermaid, the movie by Disney, where it's the ocean and it's tropical and there's crabs. Well, it originated out there, and it's cold and it's not tropical and it's totally different, but it was really nice to see.
And this was Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Stockholm, Sweden? What stood out there?
Food. Had the best mussels. That was where we had the mussels, right?
Yeah.
The best mussels.
Now, was the mussels and fries?
No, it was mussels in a big pot. So you order the mussels and they are in this big, huge pot. So good. No fries.
Yeah, we did a river cruise a couple months ago, maybe a couple months ago. And a big thing in this river cruise was in southern France. And a big thing in France is mussels and fries.
Ah.
They say that is, I mean, I like mussels and I like fries. I just never had them I just didn't know that together that was a thing. But apparently that is either the first or the second most popular dish in France.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. This is called moule frite, I think. I know I'm saying it wrong, but yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Huh.
Yep.
What part of France were you in when they had that?
Let's see. This was, well, it was all over, but I found this out. First time I heard of that was I'm pretty sure it was Marseille.
Marseille.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Marseille. But yeah, because we went to a lot of places in France, so the trip ended up in Paris, and it definitely was available in Paris too.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have the same experience at us? Were they fresh? Were they nice and lumpy? Were they just so different?
Yeah, they were good. They were good. And it was like a lot of them, and of course, it was plenty of wine everywhere. Everywhere you went, they were plying you with wine. All right. So what? Copenhagen, Stockholm. What are some of the other cities that you got to see on that 14-day leg?
We went to Tallinn, Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
This it's almost like a town from the 1800s, still going to this day.
So when you get off, when you're in port and you look at the little town, you're like, interesting. All of a sudden, you got off at a fairy tale book. Like the first thing you see is this huge castle. And it's like, wow. So we got off, we started walking, and then it got more fairy tale. Like the houses were brick, not the brick we know, the gray little tiny little rock pebbly kind of brick. The roads were like old cobblestone.
It's like a medieval town.
Then you start seeing the carts. Then you get to the people who were dressed up in one of those night suits, and it was just interesting. It was like, oh my God, it was one of our favorite stops, to say the least.
Really?
Yeah. People were great. People were nice. We went into the center, so they were trying to like redo their history. So that's why they were dressed in the nights, and they had the dances from back then, and they just took pictures with us. They posed for us. They talked to us. They gave us recommendations on where to go. It was just very nice. Very nice.
Now, when I go on cruises and, stops at all of these different ports, I always kind of characterize or rate the ports in terms of, would we want to come back here for a land vacation? Okay. Although we never do. I always say, yeah, this is a place I would come back to on a land vacation. But, I'm so much into cruising that I don't know when that land vacation is going to happen. But, my wife likes land vacation more than she likes cruising. So we're going to try to knock out some land vacations. Were there any port stops on this 14 days that made you think you might want to go back to?
It's funny you say that, and I'm going to stop you right there because I'm always doing it when I go somewhere and I just feel the vibe, like the people, like the food. I'm like, oh my God, we got to come back. We got to do a land tour to explore more. We got to bring the kids. Norway is definitely a place that I would like to rent a camper and stay just 3 months traveling the whole country.
but Norway was on the second 14 days. So we're still on the first 14 days.
Well, tell them yours since you stopped.
I mean, I like to go back to Denmark for sure. I can go back to Copenhagen, and I can go to Stockholm again.
Sweden was also nice.
Both of those countries are nice. Lots to do, lots to see.
Yeah, we went to Finland and what was it?
It was Helsinki.
Finland and Estonia. Beautiful places, but not somewhere that I would like take time to go back to.
Finland, Estonia, Helsinki, Copenhagen, and Stockholm. That's quite a trip.
Oh, it was.
Well, we did go to Germany also, but the stop we hit in Germany, we don't want to go back there.
Say no more.
Wasn't bad.
Well, what part of Germany? Well, I mean, you got to tell us something.
It was Warmunde, Germany.
Warmunde, Germany. So it is a town on the water. It is very, very small. Literally, you have to take the train to go anywhere, or a boat. but it's extremely confusing. Extremely confusing. So that's the stop they do to go to Berlin. I had the unique pleasure in my military life to be there in Berlin when they took the other half of the wall down. I had already been there. And when I'm looking at the tours to do it with him, it was like $400 to go to Berlin. And most of the time, you're on the train. So we're we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So we got off, and it's tiny. It's like from here to, I don't know, throw a rock, and there you are. It was beautiful, but definitely not a place. We had the beer. He had the beer. That's one of the things he does. We had some fried fish, I think it was. Yeah, fried fish and fries. It was something that I was like.
So where did the second half embark from?
So London. So the ship leaves from London. It does all those, come back to London, but it's Southampton. And then from Southampton, we leave that same day. And that's when we did the whole entire.
So that was the fjords and what were the stops? What were the top port stops?
Well, we stopped in Haugesund, Flan. What's the other one? Geringer.
Now, Geringer is on the itinerary that we booked.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, Geringer was nice. So we did a nice tour through the fjords. Another stop was Hannesvag. Yeah, Hannesvag, Trondheim, Aalesund, and Olden. And the very last stop was Belgium, Zeebrugge.
Belgium was nice too.
When I used to when I was writing my books, the one question I would ask of the people I featured was, what is the most beautiful place you've ever been to, and ever? And this one guy, his description of and I might be saying it wrong, Geringer, however you say it, it was just, I immediately put it on my bucket list, and then and so that's on that fjords cruise.
To say, had you asked me before this cruise, I would have said Italy. You ask me now, I have to say Norway. Every stop was just beautiful in its own way. Every stop. We went to this town that the population was less than 150 people. And it was the most picturesque, beautiful town right there by the water, surrounded by the mountains with the waterfalls and the greenery and the flowers. It was like, wow, this is what took 7 days.
So on that second half, now the cities that you mentioned didn't sound like any of those are like big cities, major cities, right?
No, I wouldn't say they're major cities. No, they're not that big. I would say Geringer is about medium size, I would say, right? The other ones are smaller, very quaint, very small. So not a lot of shopping.
So did you do tours in all of the ports?
In most of them, but let me say this: if you're planning to go to Norway, book your tours ahead of time, because some of the things get booked really fast. You can book them on your own, and there's just no space. Like there is was it Olden that has this train that takes you all the way up to the peak of the mountain, and it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful sites there, and we couldn't do it. It was completely booked.
So now when you say ahead of time and when you say completely booked, I assume you mean the cruise ship excursions were completely booked, right?
Both. We looked on the ship, and a lot of them were booked. And then when we got off, They have it there where you can also do it with the port. The port is really small, and everything was just booked. Like you can find the port guide, it's called, and they give you the links to book. And everything was just booked.
So in that second leg, it was a back to back. So same ship, right?
Same ship, same cabin. Yes.
Oh, same ship, same cabin. So you didn't have to. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Did you on that leg? Did you try any specialty restaurants?
No. I knew from the get-go that Norway and of course also Europe will have a lot of seafood. We're seafooders. So we were looking forward to those things. Where was it that we had the crab, the king crab?
In Hannesvag.
In Hannesvag, we had the fresh king crab legs. They were great. They were tasty. You can taste the freshness. However, we're Americans, so we prefer the ones from Alaska. Not to say that they were not.
Then you sailed Oasis. So talk about was there a gap between that almost 1 month that you spent on Princess and then Oasis?
Absolutely not. We came into London on the 29th of June. We get to the airport, we flew to Barcelona, and 6 hours later, we were on the other ship.
Had
Still on
you
the
had you been on Oasis before?
Oasis is one of my favorite ships. Yes, I've been on Oasis a few times. Yes.
So give us the itinerary of that leg of your amazing journey.
So we started in Barcelona.
Okay, yeah. Barcelona, then we went to the Balearic Islands, went to Marseille, La Spezia in Italy,
La
which was
Spezia. For
for Pisa, to go to Pisa,
Must do. Beautiful.
Civitavecchia for Rome,
Hmm.
got to go to Rome, Naples, and then back to Barcelona.
And that was what a 7-day cruise.
7.
Yeah, 8 days, 7 nights.
So we had family meet us there. We had 4 other people. 4? Yeah, 4 other people meet us there, and we took that cruise.
So that's the Oasis class. So for those listeners who haven't been on an Oasis class ship, give us an overview of Oasis of the Seas.
It's a large ship, of course. It's really nice. Lots of adult spaces, which I like. You can kind of go and hide and get away from the young folks. The boardwalk is always nice on the Royal Caribbean ships. Love the water shows, sports bars right there. Just a really nice ship.
They have Central Park, which, by the way, I thought it was fake plants. They're real. They also have, of course, the space for adults, meaning the pool where there's no kid, and zip lining. They also have the mini golf and that big dry, what is it, slide.
Yeah, dry water slide.
But the shows, Royal Caribbean Oasis class, the shows, the ice skating shows was amazing. The Broadway show was amazing. Aqua show was amazing.
The aqua shows. To me, that's the aqua shows is what, no one really can touch that, Royal Caribbean owns that in the cruise space, or at least on the Oasis class. And for the listeners, most of you know this, but I have referenced the Oasis class several times. So the Oasis class, until recently, were each of them were successively the largest ship in the world. So I think there's 5 Oasis class ships. What is this? Oasis of the Seas, Allure of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, Wonder of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas. I'm probably missing one. And so if you looked up what are the largest ships in the world, a year ago or so, those would have all come up. And now they've just been surpassed by a new class, also by Royal Caribbean. So when I say the Oasis class, that's what I'm referring to. Those mega ships that are only owned by Royal, and each one of the Oasis class ships. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Each one of them features something called an aqua show. There's several cruise lines who have something that no one can touch, that stands alone. Well, Royal Caribbean's aqua shows on the Oasis class is just, it's just nothing's close to it. Although other cruise lines are getting there.
There's three things that for me separate really the Oasis class. Number one is the water show. Of course, no other ship has it. Don't know if they will, but no other ship has it right now. The ice skating is also amazing. It's like,
yeah, now there are other classes though on Royal that has ice skating. Yeah.
And the other one is the Broadway shows. The Broadway shows, or the real Broadway show that you will go see in New York, that they have a partnership. And I did not know this, but in order for them to even feature that show on the ship, they have to have at least one cast member.
From the original,
or from the production. So and they are beautiful. They are just that great to me.
On Oasis, what did you eat? I'm very familiar with their food. What caught your
we do specialty restaurants
we did.
Yeah, that's right, because we had a group with us, so we did.
We did a specialty restaurant on that one. We do enjoy what's the steakhouse?
Chops.
Thank
Grill.
you.
Yeah.
We do enjoy Chops Grill. I wanted to do the captain's table, but I couldn't do it. It was full. And we did the Japanese. So we did the sushi. Was it the sushi? Yeah, the sushi.
Now that was let's see, what was your itinerary again? Refresh my memory.
That was the Balearic Islands, Marseille, La Spezia, Civitavecchia, Rome, and Naples.
That first one I'm not familiar with. What's that? Balearic Islands?
Balearic Islands.
Palma
de
Mallorca.
It's Palma de Mallorca.
Oh, I've been to Palma de Mallorca. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, same one.
Yeah, very nice, very beautiful. Water was great. So I'm a beach girl.
So what?
Not one of the ones, is it though?
Go back to.
But
you say that's one you wouldn't go back to, or you would? No. What were there any stops on that Oasis leg of the grand journey that you would go back to? Well, I know you would go back to Rome.
Yeah, I could always go back to Rome.
Rome is not my favorite, but I could go back.
Well, out of that whole tour, Rome was my favorite. So
yeah, but that was your second time in Rome, so that's cheating because you already knew a little bit. So it was our friend's first time to Europe. So we had done most of these, other than Mallorca, we had done this the prior year. So we were more like their tour guides. But for me, it's La Spezia. Going to see Pisa to me is.
But we'd already seen it. That was the second time.
And I could go see it again. I mean, it's just so picturesque, the history of it, how they tried to strain it, but they couldn't, and the weights and the whole area. It's just beautiful. It's just one of those places that you can go and take 200 pictures again.
I took some pictures when I was at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I was, dealing with some editing software on my iPhone, and it kept telling me, or kept asking me, do I want to straighten the picture?
Yeah.
So what was after? Now, where did Oasis disembark?
In Barcelona.
Okay. Y'all spending time in Barcelona?
No, we
Last time I talked to you, I recall Barcelona had some mixed reviews.
yeah, and that's why I said no. We did not stay in Barcelona. Uh, we went to the airport. We got a rental car, and we started our 3-week land tour. The first stop was Alicante, Spain, which is near Valencia. It's a beach town. It's like saying Clearwater, Florida. Um, just went there for the water, for the beach. We had a friend that was there before, Cookie Mitchell. You see this? Hello. So she gave us the tour of Alicante. Then I picked up my daughters and my future, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, who knows, son-in-law. And we visited Valencia, which is near it. And
Sevilla.
from there, we left for a week at Sevilla. Seville.
These are all in I
Spain.
recognize some names of Spain. All of these are in Spain. The 3-week tour was in Spain.
Yes.
Just different cities in Spain.
Wow.
Seville.
21 days cruising and then 3 weeks in Spain.
Yeah.
So it was 35 days cruising.
35. Oh, that's right, because it was 2 back to back. Holy cow.
And we would do it again. Actually, we are doing it again.
Oh, I know you're going to outdo this. So I might as well pencil in my schedule. I have to come up with new names. I called this one, I think, the Grand something, and I called the first one some superlative. I got to come up with a different name for your next tour.
Yeah, but let's talk
about world
Spain.
Tour.
Let's talk about Spain for a little bit, because Spain is a place that we love so much that we would actually do what?
Live there.
I mean,
Well, I bet you there's a whole lot of searches on living in Spain today, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. The food. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we were doing living in Spain searches before today. So
yeah.
But yeah, Spain was amazing. Food is great. It's healthy. It's fresh. Made right there. Pasta's fresh. Bread is fresh. It's just a place that I want to go back.
Yeah.
Did you go to what's the name of that market in Valencia?
Oh yes, we did. Actually, I don't know the name, but we did. We walked through it. The one with the white. The market was not open that day, but it's like white. It's a long stretch. Beautiful.
Yeah. I know it has a really fancy ceiling and all that. Yeah.
It wasn't open. I was hoping that it was, but it was not open. So we could not go in.
What else were highlights of Spain, of your driving trip part? Now, what did you get? Airbnb or did you you stayed at different places, right? Because you went all over Spain.
Yeah, so in Alicante we had a Airbnb by the ocean. Well, about, I don't know how many steps is that, right up the hill from the ocean. Like a 5-minute walk to the ocean. Alicante was just beautiful. The restaurants in the front of the beach was just, the seafood is good. So we love the shrimp and garlic. It's a little bit different than here in the US, but they're always good.
In Sevilla, we stayed where?
In Sevilla, we also stayed at a Airbnb. And I don't know if you know that the area may not be there the way we saw it, because they had a lot of flood over there recently.
Yes, that's a shame about those floods. I was in Spain a few months ago as well, and thinking about how close was it to where I was. So what would you say is the highlight of the Airbnb part of the trip?
So for us,
or the last
the
Airbnb
last
in
one,
Spain?
which was in Malaga. The Malaga, right?
Is that where we met the
The
farm,
sheep, the farmer.
the goat herder. That's what he was.
Yeah, yeah. We were in the middle of olive tree farms, and it was just amazing. It was just a very nice, beautiful escape. I never liked olives before then, but yeah, I like olives now. So that was a highlight.
This was olives or
Olives,
olive oil?
olive tree. Yeah, Malaga is the whole area, Alicante, Malaga, Sevilla, they're all grow olive trees because it's a dry region.
The reason I asked is because I was there, like I said, I was there, and I can't remember now, maybe 4 months ago. We went on a transatlantic on Virgin, and one of our excursions, we went to a place, all they did was serve, well, they had cheeses, but they served olive oil.
Mm.
And I just kept waiting for like the wine to come out, but it was just like an olive oil tasting.
Yeah,
I would have rather. So, did you get to taste olives?
we did. We actually brought some olives home.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love olives, and I love, all kind, exotic
Yeah.
olives too, and but they were treating this olive oil tasting like, I've been to kind of wine tastings. I mean, it was like, the food, the nibbles was
Yeah.
good, but I didn't get into the olive oil like they were getting into it. So how were the olives?
Magnificent. We brought two different kinds, the kind with the pit and a stuffed olive. They were so good. And I say were because they're gone.
And this was grown at that
Yes, they were
farm?
local. So I searched and searched until I found the local grown ones, simply because it was very pretty to be around all these olive tree farms and, seeing the goat herder with his goats every single day. That, by the way, the goat cheese, I don't eat goat cheese, but according to him, the goat cheese is special because the goats eat the olives that fall down, so their cheese and their milk have a different taste. So, it was really, really beautiful, really interesting. Beautiful beaches in Malaga as well. Beautiful beaches. Um,
Yeah, I love Malaga, but you know what was the highlight of, are you into Picasso?
yes,
Yeah, we love.
Yeah, because I think that's where he was born.
in Malaga.
Yeah, and we went to, it's like a
Mhm,
museum that his sister owned.
mhm.
Um, and
Oh, of course.
we took pictures with like him, like a sculpture of
Mhm.
him on a park
Mhm.
bench. So yeah, when it was everything
Yeah.
Picasso.
If you ever have a chance in Barcelona, they have his house where he lived and did his late work. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful museum with parrots and beautiful place.
Yeah, yep. Any other highlights from the land portion in the Airbnb portion in Spain?
I just like driving through the mountains, and you run into the ocean, and it's mountains and it's hills. I enjoy just driving through Spain.
So you had an Airbnb and you rented a
Yeah.
car?
Yes. Yeah. I enjoyed the food, going to the different restaurants, trying the bread and the cheese. The orange juice, I was addicted to the
Yeah,
natural orange
yeah,
juice.
and freshly squeezed. I didn't know, I had heard Valencia orange. Did you go to Valencia?
Yes.
Yeah, I had heard Valencia oranges, heard of Valencia oranges before, but, you know, I never looked up,
Where they were.
anything about. I never knew where they originated from. And then that's, one thing I learned on a tour in
One of the
Valencia.
highlights for me was you can go to the supermarket to buy orange juice, and the machine squeezes the oranges right there, and you buy it by the liter for $3. Highlight for me.
Wow.
Highlight.
Even in gas stations, they're doing fresh squeezed orange juice if you want. Because everywhere we stop, she wanted orange juice. Because here in the States, the orange juice gives her
Acid reflux.
acid reflux.
Oh,
But over
wow.
there, it did nothing. It's just good orange juice.
And I thought it was only me. We have friends with us, and I went to a stand and bought some fresh orange juice. And I said, "Here, you want some?" She's like, "No, no, no, it gives me acid reflux." And I said, "No, it won't." So she had some, and she was like, "Oh my God, you were right. It does not." So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way it's pasteurized over here or what it is, but I could drink a whole liter and I wouldn't have any symptoms. Here, I take 2 sips and I'm already.
So in Valencia, did you go? I can't remember. What's the famous market?
We
Did you go
we
there?
went, but it was closed that day. We walked around. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the beautiful
And
ceilings. I mean, yeah, ceilings but the selection, wow,
yeah.
So how far was your Airbnb from, where was your Airbnb located?
So the first one was in Alicante. And Alicante is a beach town and is about an hour from Valencia.
Okay.
45 minutes, an hour from Valencia.
But after the cruise, so you stayed in two after the cruise?
Three
Three. Oh,
different
wow.
ones.
Okay.
So the first week we went to Alicante. That's when we did Valencia and Alicante. The second week we went to Sevilla.
Sevilla.
And the third week we went to Malaga before coming home.
We've had you on twice with these unbelievable journeys, and I know there's going to be more. So it's just a matter of when, not if, we're going to have you back on. So I'm going to kind of get to that question right now by talking about the future. So what do you have booked as of right now? Because I know that probably will last for about a week, and then need to be updated.
Woo! That's so funny.
Oh, you're going on the Beyond.
So on Monday we do our first celebrity cruise. So it's funny we're talking about the Beyond because that's where we're going on, the Beyond,
Yeah.
on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes.
Oh, wow. So as many listeners know, that is my favorite cruise ship.
Okay.
And also, as many listeners know, I just got off of her twin sister, the celebrity Ascent, which we haven't even done our podcast, our reflections of the Ascent. And I mean, beyond. Now, I'll tell you what. Are you specialty meals types? Do you like
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
We'll do one or two.
Yeah.
Well, I have said many times online and on this podcast, the best meal that I ever had, not at sea, okay, the best meal I ever had, period, was at a specialty restaurant on Celebrity Beyond. They also had it on a set. It's called Le Voyage by Daniel Ballard. I might be saying his name wrong. And Daniel Ballard is, you can Google him and he's all that. And this was his first restaurant at sea. He's had menu items at sea, but this was his first standalone restaurant. And so if you only go to one, but they have another one on Beyond called Eden, which is almost as good.
Yes, almost.
Yeah, we went to Eden on this cruise we just went on. We didn't go on Le Voyage. It's a little rich for our blood. I mean, when we were on our first cruise on Beyond, we were on our anniversary, so we splurged.
Right.
But Eden is right up there. It's very. I mean, in fact, there are many who like Eden better than Le Voyage. Although,
What was the menu like for the one you like, your favorite restaurant?
It's very, I mean, they're both very gourmet. So, I mean, I can't pronounce what we had, you know.
Was it
Uh,
seafood, steak?
Seafood, yeah, seafood.
Seafood? Okay.
We love seafood.
Okay.
So if there's a choice on the menu, we're going to tend to lean towards a seafood option. And I don't know, on this cruise, I went like lobster crazy, because both in the main dining room and in we went through a couple of specialties. We got lobster dishes, a lot, like 4 different times, which is, just high for a cruise ship. That's, not like a luxury cruise ship, although celebrities, premier. But you'll love. I know how much you enjoy Princess because, I've spoken to you enough about it. I can't wait to ask you to compare the two. I can't
Okay.
wait.
And that is the goal. Now, let me ask you real quick in reference to the specialty, since we haven't been on Celebrity. Would you recommend booking them before or while you're on the ship?
Well, when I have had packages on Celebrity, you couldn't book them before. You could
Okay.
you could buy them. You could buy the package
Mm-hmm.
and pick. Let me see.
Right.
Did we pick our? No, we didn't pick our restaurant. You can buy the package, but you can't pick your
Okay.
restaurants until you board.
Oh, okay. So you recommend buying the package
Yeah,
prior
yeah,
to.
and there's various packages. This time, we got a neat package this time. I say neat. It's different. We hadn't gotten this one before. It was two dinners and one lunch. And the lunch, oh my goodness, I had they have a special each day, and the special on Wednesday was lobster bouillabaisse, and it was
Okay.
unbelievable. But that was at a place called La Bistro. That's at lunch. And then
Gotcha.
the dinners we had Eden, as I mentioned, which you can't lose with Eden. And the other dinner we had was their steakhouse called Fine Cut Steakhouse. And even there, I got lobster, but
Yeah.
they have all kind of steaks and stuff. And we had a lot of, we went back to Fine Cut. We had done Fine Cut on Beyond, and we had some, sentiment caused us to go back there because when we went on Beyond, we were on our anniversary and they brought us out a cake and so it was kind of special. So we went back there and we went to eat. But my point is, you can get various dining packages. 3 nights,
Okay.
4 nights, unlimited. Although no one should get unlimited because, in my opinion, and this is one man's opinion, hands down, the best main dining rooms at sea.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
hands
Okay.
down. We loved the main dining rooms. And the other thing I have is tradition. Do you have any food traditions on cruise ships? Something you have to get?
Just the lobster for
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
And the soup. I'm a soup person.
Well, yeah. For me, besides lobster, now I'm having a brain freeze. Escargot. You can get escargot as a starter every night in the main dining room. I've been on cruise ships that either they don't have it or they have it maybe in the specialty restaurant,
Special.
or
Yeah.
they have it once, during the cruise.
Right.
They had escargot every night. Escargot
Wow.
and shrimp cocktail. You always could get those. They had different starters that you always could get, and escargot and shrimp cocktail
Right.
were. So you are in for a treat. I can't wait to.
Okay. So we're looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it.
After that, we go to in February. We go on Wonders of the Seas to see the Super Bowl. It has become our little
Our tradition the last what,
tradition.
3 years.
That's the big Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have gone there to watch the Super Bowl. This will be our third year, and it's just a great atmosphere.
Do you go with a group or it's just something you do on your own?
It's just us two, although this time his sister is getting married the day before, so she's gonna do her honeymoon there. So that would be a lot of fun. Maybe. And then after that, you can talk about this one.
The summer cruises will be in Asia. So we're doing a 19-day or cruise in Asia. So back to back. 38 days.
So let's just go ahead and say that's when we'll have you back after that. Because I haven't done Asia yet, and I told you, well, you probably don't remember, but I told the world, the world that listens to this podcast, on the first time you were on, that you are my cruise role models. So but we can go ahead and pencil you in for after Asia. You are definitely you have a definite invite.
Is gearing up to be very, very interesting. We're going to do, well, I'm going to be 3 months over there. He's going to be there 2.5. But we are going to do the month cruising, and then we're going to be a month in Thailand land.
Now, what ship?
Diamond
Princess.
Diamond Princess.
Diamond. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then the land portion is Thailand. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Japan.
Well, we will be in land also in Japan for a week, but Thailand will be there for a month.
Yeah.
And you've never been to Japan, right?
Never been to Asia. I haven't.
Oh wow.
That'll be my first time.
Now, when I was in the military, I was stationed in Japan for 2 years. But I didn't get to experience Japan because, I was working.
Sure.
So this will be a different.
And we have a group.
And we have a group of 13.
And it's a group of 13 of us.
So.
A family group, or is it a group cruise?
Family, friends.
Family.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Well, that's what you have booked.
Well, I haven't finished.
Oh my goodness! I was getting ready to say, well, what's on your bucket list? You still have more.
So last night I booked our flights to Kenya. So be in November in Kenya for 3 weeks. That's November of 2025. And then in January of 2026, which is my birthday, and he retires, I'll be 50. We will be on the new Star Princess. That's it.
That's it for now.
And Kenya's already booked, huh?
I just booked the flights last night.
But is the trip
Find out.
I just found out just now.
All right, maybe I should move on.
No, it's fine. He knows.
So you booked the flights, but have you booked the contents of the?
So no, I started looking at South. We wanted to get a little taste of Africa. Africa is a continent that I really want to explore for many different reasons. And we were going to go to South Africa. So we were bouncing back and forth going to South Africa. And then I spoke to this Uber lady who's from East Africa.
Uh-huh.
And she convinced me. She was like, no, do not go to South Africa in November. It's going to be cold. It can snow. You want to go to East Africa. Start in East Africa, and then from there you would, move around. So I started looking up East Africa and Kenya, and I was like, yeah, she's right. So last night I just went ahead and booked those flights.
Well, is that all?
Yeah. I mean, I am going to do a cruise with my sister in September, somewhere in the middle to Scotland and Ireland that I haven't been to, but we're still in the working details. It's nothing him and I, so that doesn't count.
What could be on your bucket? I know you're gonna go out of space, right?
Australia.
I figured
Australia.
you would.
I want to. I want to go out of space for sure.
So Australia is on the bucket list for me. It is not on his bucket list. I think in his bucket list is Abu Dhabi, or what was
Nah.
it? What
Well,
was it?
Africa was my bucket list.
No,
And
there was something else.
no, no.
No, you sure? Well, I
I'm
have a few things on the bucket list. So I have Australia and I have Singapore, and I do want to go to the Philippines, and I do want to explore a little bit more of Europe, but more of the countryside, not like the tourist. Yeah.
I know what you would enjoy. We've had a conversation about this before. A river cruise.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be the way for someone like yourselves to see Europe. Because it doesn't,
Yeah.
I mean, you can do excursions into like cities. I mean, we went to Paris when we did a river cruise, but most of the stops are like places you would never go otherwise, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
before we let you go, let me shift gears back just like the first time you were on, a couple of light, even fun
Yeah.
questions, but this time there were totally different questions because obviously you've been on before and you told us, your most embarrassing moment and on, and which I included, by the way, in the year-end podcast of the funniest and most touching and most embarrassing moments. So you made that when I asked you your most embarrassing. But so these questions are more meant to let some of your friends and family and followers get to know you a little bit better. But the first, I previously asked about favorite cruise drinks and food. I'm always interested in anything around culinary and and alcohol.
Food and drink.
So have you discovered anything new since we last spoke? Anything on your recent cruises?
Um, I got into drinking old fashions. I never knew what an old fashioned was.
I'm in that stage too. I had never tried it, and I think maybe from one of these sessions, because now I hear there's like a
Yeah.
nutty old fashioned, a smoky old fashioned. What have you tried any of those?
I just had the regular old fashioned so far. 'Cause we had a drink package and get all the drinks. So
Talking
let me
about
try
drink
it.
package, I wasn't gonna intervene until he brought it up because of you, sir. We had a drink package. Princess gave us a included drink package. We were like, okay. He says to me, "Well, I'm gonna take advantage of this drink package. I'm gonna have every single drink in the menu." I thought he was joking. He's joking. Every single day he would go to a bar and order one different one. Yep, I like this one. Nope, I don't like this one. Yep, I like this one. I'm like, oh,
That's why you have the package. You got to
Roland
try them
said,
all.
"Hold my beer."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, old fashions,
pretty
good.
much.
Good. How about you? I mean, anything new and different?
So my friends and family, they know I'm a lightweight. I always say I'm allergic to alcohol because I drink a little bit and I get drunk. But on the last cruise, there was this lady ordering, and I thought it was chocolate, but it was not chocolate. It was coconut and ginger
Oh
and
wow.
mint,
Hmm.
and it was
Good. Good.
delicious. It was really good. So I did like
Okay.
that one.
Welcome to the many Roland and Emma friends listening, so that your friends and my listeners can get to know you better. Let me ask a few questions I like to ask repeat guests. So for each of you, because I know I want to hear Roland separately, and then so for each of you, what's playing these days in your Bluetooth speaker, headphones, or however you consume music?
Well, for me, I'm a DJ. So when I'm not a full-time teacher, I'm either mixing music or making my own music or doing a party. So I listen to everything. But, my favorites are Robert Glasper, jazz musician.
Love Robert
Oh, yeah,
Glasper.
he's definitely one of my favorites.
I saw him on a cruise ship, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Last Valentine's Day, Maxwell
Okay.
had a cruise, and he's having it again. So that's something else for y'all to think about. He's having it again, but Robert Glasper's not on it this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I was just in New York. He was in New York performing, but I didn't get a chance to go catch him neither. So I got to see him live at least once. But my musical tastes go from A to Z, so it just depends on what I feel like in that day. It could be Clapton, it could be Mary J. Blige, it could be Common. Well, I'm actually listening to the new Common and Pete Rock album like every day. So that's me.
Now, let me ask you a very specific question. I know because you like hip hop, and I know you like. Well, I would assume that you appreciate Kendrick Lamar.
Of course.
Are you a Drake fan?
I like Drake's music.
Okay, because I like them both immensely, and the feud kind of tore me apart because that's probably one and two or two and one for me.
Yeah,
Uh, and so I hate what's happening. Although Kendrick's song is, it's a
yeah.
banger.
I think the whole feud was, to me, really unnecessary. Neither one of them need the extra publicity that it got. However, when Kendrick dropped the Not Like Us song, that just blew up to now he's probably going to win a Grammy. That's probably why he has the Super Bowl. But I actually prefer Drake's music more than Kendrick's
Well,
music.
I'm actually where you are. I wasn't going to say that, but now that you said it, okay, that's true for me too. So,
I mean, me DJing parties and DJing clubs, Drake is his his playlist is always playing. Very few Kendrick songs that people actually ask to play to dance to. So
how about you? Are you into music or podcasts or audio books or none of the above?
I I am not a music connoisseur like he is. Everybody that knows me know that already. But I do have certain music that I like. And it's Christmas season, so I'm all into Christmas music. Frank Sinatra, I've been listening to him and so throwbacks. I'm still in the 80s and the 70s. To me, that's the best music ever created. Um, so I do enjoy that.
A Christmas themed or holiday themed single. I don't know the name of the song because I didn't expect to bring this up, but I can tell you the artist. So just search Patrice Covington. I don't know if you've seen on Facebook, but
Okay.
she's going to be on the podcast soon. And I met her on Celebrity
Oh,
Ascent, and she has a huge resume. I mean, when you
okay.
see her resume, she's a big deal. You probably don't know the name. She sings background for Stevie Wonder, Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Hudson.
Mm,
She's won a daytime Emmy. She's starred in
mm,
The Color Purple on Broadway. So she has a really long resume, but she did mention that she has a Christmas themed single, and it's available in wherever you stream music.
okay.
So
Okay.
and
Patrice
it's
Covington, yeah,
Patrice Covington.
Covington.
Okay.
and
Will look
don't
her
miss her
up.
on the Joy Cruising podcast. I think her episode is December 2nd. All right, the next
Okay. That's when we get
question
back.
again for each of you separately or individually. Who's your favorite music artist?
Favorite music artist. My favorite all-time group is A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay, they're right up there for
So
me. I like.
my, my favorite producer is Pete Rock. I'm a 90s hip hop person, so hip hop is them. Mary J. and Anita Baker is my favorite R&B singers. Raheem Devon, Dwele.
Well, Emma,
That's
you
kind of my
said you're
style
not
of
all
music.
that into music. You must have one person you really like.
I know who she like.
Who? Let's see.
Mark
Yeah, well,
Anthony.
that's
I do like Mark Anthony.
so do millions of others.
Salsa bachata. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I
Yep.
do. I do. I like Cheyenne. I also like Frank Sinatra, as I mentioned. I do like. I never can remember her name, but she sung "Hero."
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Uh,
Along those lines.
this is for both of you. I would assume you were together. Maybe not. What's the last live concert you saw?
New Edition. She took me to see New Edition.
I did. And I stayed in the whole time. He was really surprised.
Was that Vegas? I didn't know they had a residency in Vegas.
They did. They had a short residency, but they were in Tampa.
They came to Tampa.
Okay. Give us a favorite recent book, movie. I was going to say or record, but we've talked about music a lot. So give us a favorite recent book, movie, or podcast.
I saw this
or television series. Something you want to turn the listeners on to.
I saw this one last night, Red One. Oh, that Christmas movie? Yes.
What? Not on. I was getting ready to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, the muscular guy. What's his name?
Rock. Yeah, the Rock.
Dwayne.
Yeah. Yes.
So
good.
Good. Yeah.
It was a really good movie. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. It was kind of. It was like tongue in cheek, right? It was funny, right?
Comedy, action-ish type of Christmassy.
All the while teaching you a lesson at the same time.
Yeah. Really good message for children and adults.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much because, I think everybody should go out and see it.
Red One. Okay.
Yes.
How about you, Roland?
Book for me is I'm reading the autobiography of Nelson Mandela. That's what I'm reading currently. Now,
one of the greatest.
But my all-time favorite book is the autobiography of Assata Shakur.
My favorite all-time book is Who Ate My Cheese?
Well, if you just started the Nelson Mandela book, you're in for a treat because I did read that one. I thought you were going to say when you started off the autobiography of, I thought you were going to say, because my favorite book, or close, is Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay.
I thought you read that one.
I've read that one too. I've read that one as well.
All right. Well, Roland and them, it's been a lot of fun getting back together with you guys. And I can't wait can't wait for two things. One, just to compare notes on Celebrity Beyond, because I've souped it up so much. I feel like now my I'm on a little bit of a trial here because I know how much y'all like Prince's.
I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna take a notepad everywhere.
Because when I have you all back on after the Asia trip, we'll bring up Celebrity Beyond.
Okay.
So take notes. Yes. So that might be 6 months. What you say? Summer? You're going to Asia?
May to August.
Okay, yeah. So we won't have you on for maybe 9 months, but I want to catch up on any cruising you've done in the interim period. So,
okay,
yeah, I'll be in touch with you throughout anyway. So,
and when do you leave?
I leave May 13.
No. When do you leave for your cruise coming up?
Oh, Monday.
Okay.
Monday.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll probably holler at you on Facebook before then, but. In any event, bon voyage, and
thank you.
Oh, but before we leave, let me add this. Between the last time we were on and now, I opened up my online store. It is ALLO813.com, and the ALL.
Okay, now tell the listeners about your store. What can we get?
So. ALLO stands for A Life Less Ordinary. So that's what we try to do. Be different than everybody else. But my store is basically it's t-shirts, it's travel t-shirts, it's sports themed. It's going to be different trinkets in there. Right now we got coffee mugs, tumblers. So there'll be hats coming soon. But right now it's shirts, mainly shirts.
Okay. Well, this is a good time.
And I would like to add to that to any of our listeners that are out there thinking, oh my God, I would love to do that. I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, go do it. Yes, life is very short. It's a blink of an eye. Just jump on it and do it.
All righty. Well, until we see you again, take care, enjoy your cruise, and as I like to say, we'll see you on the ocean.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, for $18.99 can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.